Here we go, this is where Bond arrives in the hotel. Sort of just inspecting everything. He's had a little look in his briefcase. Didn't really check whether the buttons were in the right way round, but never mind. This is pretty cool. Connery seems to have an act of being cool on the telephone. One of the lost arts of Bond films now, we have mobile phones. I love how he's sort of undoing his tie while he's on the phone at the same time. Like he's a very busy man. Whoops, something's up. What's going on? So we move into the other room, dark to light. The top goes off. That's one of the requisites of these auditions, that the Bond must look good with his shirt off. Obviously, being the 1960s, a rug was very popular then. In fact, he's probably got more hair on his chest than he actually has on his real head, but that's another story. On goes the towel, very carefully placed. Searching around the room, let's get the gun, looking to the side. Lovely set this, fantastic. I like the columns. It actually looks a little bit like Blofeld's boat, that's also in the film. Little jog in the dark, opening of the door. What a man. And there's Titania in the bed. The game's afoot. Love how he walks with a gun pointing right at her. Now apparently she's naked under there, as revealed in the novel. Titania in this is a little bit more softly spoken than in the novel. She's very abrupt with Bond in the novel, but the scene itself, pure Fleming. Guns upset me.
I'm sorry.
Casually puts it to the side. He's very trusting, isn't he, to a beautiful woman? And she certainly is a beautiful woman.
You're one of the most beautiful girls I've ever seen.
See, he agrees.
But I think my mouth is too big.
Cheesy line. Definitely not Fleming, that line.
For me, that is.
Also, the way they get together in the book is actually just slightly different to this. I love how he's sort of interrogating her as he kisses her at the same time. That's been used in lots of other Bond films. I think one of them when Roger Moore is looking for Feckish. And he's having dessert.
I would need a plan of the place. If you could get one, we could read it.
This is the moment where he's coming up with formulating a plan in his mind about what's going to happen next. But Titania, she just wants to seduce him.
Now what are you looking for?
Scar, you see, I know all about you. From your fire.
It's a bit hard to imagine that she just loves him from having looked at his photograph, but there you go.
I will tell you.
I like the way it sort of suggests about what will happen next. Nice movement of the arms away. And cut to the mirror. And behind the mirror you have the Russian agents filming using evidence against Bond. And now this really is one of the most iconic scenes in From Russia with Love. Here we get Bond acting on his wits to try and pay off Red Grant to try and avoid getting killed. Now we've already been introduced to the case earlier on by Q, and so we've had this scene sort of preempted before. The way in which Bond disarms Red Grant is different in the Fleming novel. In fact, it's more luck than than skill deception that's going on here. I love the way Connery's just looking at Red Grant and Red Grant's just looking at him. We know what's going to happen next because we've already been said about exploding. There we go, there's the explosion. And now the fight. Quite brutal, hand-to-hand combat in an enclosed space. Mixture of stunt doubles and Robert Shaw and Sean Connery. But it really is brutal. You've got the smoke still left over from the briefcase. Not quite sure what's going on because of the darkness, but it's certainly the sound effects that really make this. Of course, this has also been copied in several of Roger's films. The End of Live and Let Die, and famously Jaws on the train back from Cairo, and then copied by Daniel Craig and Dave Bautista in Spectre. But this really is, this is the Citizen Kane of hand-to-hand combat in a train. Look at that. Still not quite sure what to do. I love the move where he grabs hold of the top of the carriage and throws his feet. And now obviously we've got the weapon that Robert Shaw's got. Red Grant's famous wire. There we are, Connery reaching for his gadgets. Get out the knife, which is in there. That's from the novel. It's a shame that Robert Shaw isn't doing the same sort of scream that he did when he was Quint in Jaws. But this is one of Robert Shaw's two famous death scenes in films. There we are, straighten the tie. And get ready for the quip. In the book, the old man comment was dissed by Bond. He didn't like being called it, and Red Grant actually apologised, but that scene wasn't in the film, and you get a nice little payoff. I think that's one of the differences between the visual character and the literary character. He's more of a quipper, and certainly Roger Moore, no one quipped better than him. Right, one of my favourite scenes is this one, where we've got Anthony Dawson playing Blofeld and the voice Eric Pullman. Notice how in the long shots the screen is going backwards and forwards as if we're on a boat. This mirrors the conversation between Rosa Klebb and Kronstein because it's going backwards and forwards between those two characters. Now at this point we think that Rosa Klebb is the one that's going to get it. There we go, there goes the button. In comes Morzani. Morzani obviously we've met several times before during this, but we're also going to be introduced to one of the weapons of Spectre. But I just love the way that you press a button, that means death. There we go, there's the device, purely for this this sequence, but also introduced by Fleming himself. That was what Rosa Klebb uses to kill Bond. Kronstein now gets it. The way he sort of looks, why? Why me? Why me? Why have you killed me? No, that's it, that's the end we'll see of him. But notice how the strokes of the cat are very, very symmetrical. They're very, very evenly paced. Not like later on, where it's fast when someone dies. I love how Rosa Klebb sort of thinks that her life's in danger.